Welcome, dreamer. Tonight, we drift back through the mists of ancient Greece, where heroes tread silent corridors and monsters guard the secrets of the dark. Let these timeless whispers carry you far from the waking world, and into a realm where myths breathe softly around your sleep. This is the tale of Theseus and the Minotaur, a story of courage spun in moonlight and golden thread. Lie back, close your eyes, and drift into mythical sleep. If there's a legend you'd love to dream of next, share it in the comments below, and if you enjoy these bedtime myths, please subscribe so you never miss a journey through the ages. Long ago, in the city of Athens, fear crept like mist through marble streets. Parents whispered to children about the monster that devoured hope itself. Every 9 years, a cruel tribute was demanded, and every 9 years, tears stained the stones of Athens. King Minos of Crete, his eyes cold as the sea, had built his power on the monster's hunger. Deep beneath his palace, the labyrinth waited, a maze so twisted that even dreams could not escape it. Each tribute sailed under black sails. 14 youths, 7 sons and 7 daughters, stepping into a fate darker than the ocean's depths. Mothers wept at the docks, fathers turned away from the salt of their own tears. Beneath Knossos, the labyrinth breathed. Shadows danced behind its ancient walls. Within, the Minotaur waited, half man, half bull, its hooves echoing through corridors older than kings. In Athens stood Theseus, son of King Aegeus. Brave yet burdened, he watched the ship that would carry the doomed. His heart roared like the beast he swore to face. He would not stand by as his people trembled. Theseus stepped forward, offering himself as tribute. The elders begged him to stay, but he would not. For him, courage was the only cure for fear. And so, he joined the black-sailed ship bound for Crete. Days passed on the wine-dark sea. The ship creaked and whispered to the waves. At night, Theseus dreamt of labyrinths with no doors and monsters with eyes like burning coals. Knossos rose from the shore like a dream of marble and frescoes. The palace sprawled wide, halls painted with leaping bulls and coiled serpents, signs of the beast that ruled below. There, in the courtyard's hush, Theseus first saw Ariadne. Her hair caught the sun like woven gold, her eyes deep pools of worry and wonder. She knew the fate that awaited him in the maze. By moonlight they met in secret. Ariadne's voice trembled as she spoke of thread and freedom, a path through the twisting corridors of despair. In that moment, love and hope were spun together. Dawn creeps across the courtyard of Knossos, casting long shadows across painted walls and columns. Theseus stands at the edge of the maze, the air thick with secrets and dread. The golden thread glimmers in his hand, a fragile promise spun by Ariadne's trembling fingers. He breathes deep, feeling the weight of every soul lost within these winding walls. With a final glance at the rising sun, he steps forward, swallowed by the stone jaws of the labyrinth. Inside the labyrinth, silence reigns but for the muffled scrape of sandals on ancient stone. Theseus unspools the thread behind him, each step leaving a delicate line of hope in the darkness. The air smells of damp rock and something older, a scent like earth and fear. Torches flicker, shadows stretch like claws along the walls. He pauses often, listening for hoofbeats, each heartbeat echoing louder than the last. Deeper he goes, winding left, then right, past corridors that seem to breathe. He sees marks on the walls, scratches from horns, splatters of old blood faded to rust. Somewhere ahead, a deep snort rumbles through the maze, like thunder trapped underground. Theseus holds the thread tight, its slender pull grounding him. He whispers Ariadne's name under his breath, a soft shield against the darkness closing in. The walls close in tighter now, the passages barely wide enough for his shoulders. He presses a hand to the cold stone, feeling the labyrinth's ancient pulse, a heartbeat that seems to echo his own. Every few steps he stops to listen. He imagines the Minotaur, hooves striking sparks on the stone floor, eyes glowing like dying embers in the dark. The silence is worse than any roar, filling his mind with what waits ahead. Then, in a chamber larger than the rest, he pauses. The air here is warmer, heavy with the scent of sweat and beast. He crouches, tracing gouges in the floor where the Minotaur has paced 1,000 restless circles. The golden thread coils at his feet like a serpent of light. He closes his eyes, sees Ariadne's face, remembers her whispered promise, the way out lies within. Theseus grips his sword, its bronze blade trembling in the flame's glow. A low growl rolls through the cavernous chamber. Theseus rises as the Minotaur emerges from the shadows, its massive shoulders brushing the stone walls. The beast's breath mists the air, nostrils flaring, eyes locked on the intruder. Its horns catch the torchlight like twin crescent moons. Theseus steadies his breath, feeling the weight of every Athenian life behind him, every hope riding on this moment. Steel meets beast. Fear meets courage. The clash is sudden, a roar of horn against blade. Sparks fly as the bronze sword scrapes the creature's horn, the sound sharp as thunder cracking stone. Theseus sidesteps, boots scraping in the dust, the golden thread tugging at his belt like a reminder of escape. He strikes again, but the Minotaur's hide is thick, its rage thicker still. Their shadows dance across the chamber walls, two shapes locked in an ancient battle of will and blood. A horn catches Theseus' arm, tearing a line of fire across his flesh. He gasps but does not falter. The pain roots him to this fight, a reminder that legends are written in wounds and sacrifice. He shifts his stance, blade low, watching the beast circle him with murder in its eyes. Around them, the labyrinth seems to hum, stone walls hungry for another hero's bones. Theseus whispers a prayer, more to himself than any listening god. With a roar that shakes the chamber, Theseus lunges. He ducks beneath a sweeping horn, drives the blade deep into the beast's chest. The Minotaur bellows, hooves scraping stone, but Theseus does not let go. He twists the blade, feeling its final shudder. Silence returns, heavy as the grave. Theseus pulls back, gasping, eyes on the fallen monster, the terror of Athens, now just flesh and shadow, beaten by courage and thread. Theseus stands in the silent chamber, the beast's body growing cold beside him. He wipes the blood from his blade and looks at the golden thread coiled at his feet, his lifeline, a slender promise that he will not join the bones scattered through these halls. Shadows flicker along the walls, but now they seem gentler, as if the maze itself sighs in relief. He whispers Ariadne's name, and a sliver of dawn seems to rise in the dark. Carefully, Theseus winds the golden thread around his hand, retracing each step through the twisting corridors. He walks slow and steady, ears straining for any sound but the beat of his own heart. Each turn feels familiar now, a memory of fear transformed into freedom. The labyrinth's walls feel less like prison bars, more like stone guardians guiding him back to the light. At last, a faint breeze kisses his face. It carries the scent of olive trees and the sea beyond, the scent of life beyond the maze. He follows the thread up a final corridor, where the dawn light pools like a blessing at the entrance. He emerges into the courtyard where Ariadne waits, the fear on her face melting into joy the moment she sees him whole. Ariadne rushes forward, her eyes wide with relief. She clutches Theseus's hands, feeling the warmth of life that she feared the maze would swallow. They stand beneath the marble archways, golden threads still trailing behind them like spun sunlight. The labyrinth remains behind them, silent and empty, its monster slain, its shadows broken by the morning sun. They move quickly now, slipping through palace corridors like ghosts. The guards are few, lost in dreams of their king's gold and power. Ariadne leads the way, her silken robes brushing the cold marble. She whispers to Theseus about the ship waiting on the shore. A promise of freedom riding on restless waves. They reach the hidden cove as the first birds begin to sing. The black-sailed ship bobs gently on the tide, its crew ready but wary. Theseus helps Ariadne onto the deck, her hair a river of gold beneath the breaking dawn. They leave behind the palace of Knossos, its halls full of secrets, its king dreaming of power he no longer holds. The ship glides away from Crete, its oars slicing the sea like silver knives. Ariadne leans against Theseus, her eyes heavy but her heart light. They speak of Athens, of a new life where no monster lurks below. Theseus watches the island fade into mist, the labyrinth just a shadow now, swallowed by the sea. Nights pass softly on the open water. The moon rides high, spilling silver across the sails. Theseus dreams of twisted corridors and the beast's final roar, but each time he wakes, Ariadne's hand is there, anchoring him to this new world where the labyrinth's shadows cannot follow. One evening, the wind turns cool and carries a hush of sorrow. Theseus stands at the bow, staring at the horizon, thoughts tangled like the thread he once unspooled. He wonders if the gods still watch him, weaving fate in patterns he cannot see. Ariadne sleeps below, dreaming of shores that feel too far away. Land rises from the waves, an island of soft sands and sloping hills. Naxos. They anchor there for rest, the oarsmen weary, the sails heavy with salt. Theseus helps Ariadne ashore. They walk together beneath olive trees and ancient stones, her laughter drifting like wind chimes through the warm air. That night, the stars burn bright above Naxos. Theseus lies awake by the embers of a small fire. Doubt creeps in like a cold wind, whispers of his father, his city, the promises he must keep. Ariadne sleeps soundly, her golden hair spread like a crown on the sand. The hero's heart is heavy with choices that legends never tell. At dawn, Theseus stands at the water's edge. The waves curl around his feet like questions he cannot answer. He watches Ariadne sleep, her dreams untouched by the ache in his chest. Legends demand sacrifice, he tells himself. He turns away from her peaceful form and stares at the waiting ship, sails whispering in the morning breeze. With heavy steps, Theseus returns to the ship alone. He does not wake Ariadne. The crew hoists the black sails as he stands at the bow, eyes dark with regret. The island fades behind them, olive trees and golden sands swallowed by the mist. On the shore, Ariadne stirs, reaching out for a hand that is no longer there. Days pass on the restless sea. Theseus does not sleep but watches the horizon, guilt and grief wrapped around his shoulders like a wet cloak. The waves sing to him of choices made and promises broken. The wind tangles his hair, carrying the scent of home, and the heavy burden that still waits there. As Athens draws near, the coastline rises from the sea like a memory. The sailors remind Theseus of the sails, the black sails that tell of death. In his weary haze, he forgets. The ship drifts toward the city crowned in sorrow, its black banners fluttering against the morning sun. King Aegeus stands on the cliffs above the harbor, eyes scanning the waves for a sign of his son's triumph. He sees the black sails and feels the world slip from beneath his feet. The king's heart cracks like old marble. With a final, wordless cry, he casts himself into the sea below. The sea swallows the king's grief, its tides carrying his spirit into the deep. From that day, the waters below Athens are named for him, the Aegean Sea, a tribute to a father's heartbreak and a hero's forgotten promise. Theseus stands on the deck, the weight of two worlds pressing into his chest. Theseus steps ashore at last, the city quiet in mourning. He kneels at his father's empty throne, his crown heavy in hands that still feel the Minotaur's final breath. The labyrinth may be behind him, but the maze within his mind is far from silent. In time, the people gather around him, no longer trembling children sent to die, but citizens standing tall. They see not just the slayer of the beast, but the man who carries his choices like shadows in the heart. A hero, a king, and still, a boy who once tied a thread to hope. The labyrinth grows over with vines in distant Crete, its stone passages claimed by silence. But in Athens, stories bloom. Children grow up telling tales of Theseus, of the thread that led him home, of the beast that taught him what courage and regret weigh when carried side by side. When night falls over Athens, and the stars will overhead like ancient watchers, Theseus sits alone on the palace steps. He feels the sea's hush in his veins, the thread's ghost between his fingers. He closes his eyes and listens to the silence, the only maze he has yet to conquer. In the hush of the palace halls, whispers of the past drift like candle smoke. Theseus walks their length, his steps softened by the weight of memory. He dreams of Ariadne, the golden thread slipping through his fingers, the sun rising over an empty shore. Sometimes, he still feels the walls of the labyrinth pressing close, each twist a question, each turn an echo of what he left behind. But the Minotaur's roar fades, replaced by the lullaby of the sea that carried him home. The city sleeps now, wrapped in shadows and moonlight. Somewhere beyond the cliffs, the waves hush secrets only the stars can hear. Theseus sits by the old olive tree, its roots deep as the stories whispered to sleeping children. His eyes close, but the corridors within him remain, winding, patient, waiting for the hero to lay down his crown. He dreams of the thread, spun gold, soft in his palm, promising that no path is ever truly lost. Each breath is a step away from stone and monster. Each heartbeat a thread pulling him toward the dawn. The Aegean sighs below, tides weaving his story into the dark. Legends do not sleep, but heroes do. In your dreams tonight, you walk beside him. No monster lurks, only quiet arches leading you deeper into calm. You run your hand along the cool stone, each turn softer than the last, each corner opening into starlight. The sea murmurs its song, rocking you gently, reminding you that even heroes need rest. The labyrinth fades. The moon drifts west. The city breathes, its streets silvered in silence. And so, brave dreamer, the tale winds to its end. The labyrinth grows silent, the hero sails home, and the ancient stones hold their secrets once more. Rest now, for tomorrow new myths will find you. If you wish to wander further into these timeless stories, remember to subscribe to Mythical Sleep, and let me know which legend should guide your dreams next. Good night, and may the whispers of heroes guard your sleep.